grab a pen and pad. You're listening to the Take Notes with Kiki Barber podcast. Your host, Kiki Barber, a wife, mother, entrepreneur, educator, and author, shares her experiences, expertise, and advice that you can apply to your own lives.
You gonna miss me?
No.
You just jealous because I got a family and you don't.
Family ain't got nothing to do with it. You think these people gonna like you? They sitting home having themselves a nice little life, and then some hood rat gonna move in and shit's gonna be like the Cosbys? Girl, you tripping.
Well, I hope one day you find your family same as me.
Meridia! You can come out now! We're FBI! It's safe to get out of the car. Down! Stop shooting at us so we can talk!
You mean so you can shoot me like you shot my dad?
Look, we're here to bring you to your mom. She wants to see you.
My mother's dead.
No, she's alive. She's at her office right now, Meridia.
You're lying.
No, we're not! She's alive! Your mother risked her life so she could see you again.
Then where is she? My dad told me she was dead. He showed me photos. I'd be dead too if he didn't hide me from people like you. Why would he lie to me? He loved me.
Put the gun down. Hey, let us take you home. That's okay. It's okay. All right.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, Mother. How are you?
I'm great. I'm blessed, highly favored, no problems. You know. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Okay, so everybody, this is our show tonight with my daughter, Gionnakamille, and this is going to be just a talk with mother and daughter about various things from acting to everything. So thank you for joining us again. This is Take Notes with Kiki Barber, and I am your host, Kiki Barber. So before we get started, we want to just go into our regular segments. I want to shout out two businesses. I always shout out two businesses that I want to give big ups to, and you guys could visit them later in the chat. I'll leave everything below in the chat, the links to their businesses. And the first business I wanted to shout out was Cherie's Touch of Elegance. And what she does is a lot of event planning. She has an event space, and she also comes out and decorates for birthday parties, for baby showers, for weddings, for everything like that. If you want to rent things from her, you could also do that. So Cherie's Touch of Elegance, you get this shout out today for today's show. And also, you see what I'm wearing? Y'all look cute. You see me? I'll give you pictures later. But I'm actually wearing something from my daughter's boutique. So tell us a little bit about your boutique, Gianna.
Well, I own the Camille Couture Boutique, and I started it to essentially provide clothing and fashion to women of all sizes, specifically Black, Indigenous people of color and women of color, because oftentimes we are spending money and putting money into companies that are targeting us but aren't owned by us. And so I wanted to make sure that I had an outlet where people were actually buying from people that had the same body as them and had the same struggle as them and things like that. So Camille Couture Boutique is fashions for all queens of any size, any culture, any ethnicity.
Okay, cool. And I had this gold thing that you bought me. It's a dress that you brought when the last time you came home. So that was actually cool. It fits very nice. It's snug. I'll leave pictures so guys can see the full body of it. And in the comment section, or I'll leave a link to Gianna's boutique. And so how was it starting that boutique, G?
It was interesting. I think I started it while I was back home one time. I had come home for my birthday, and that was around the time that I had decided to start it. We were several months into the quarantine and the pandemic, and it was my birthday, and I was just like, I think I'm going to start this boutique. I had already been operating it a year prior, then I kind of stopped, and so I decided I wanted to come back full force and do it right. And it ended up going well with the whole starting process, but there were a lot of things that I had to learn myself, and of course through you, because you taught me so much about business. So it was great to start it while I was at home, so I could just kind of pick your brain about a lot of things while I was there. But I'm learning more every day. It's a lot that I didn't know about running a boutique or a business. So I'm learning a lot every day.
Welcome to entrepreneurship. Whoa, people think it's so easy, but it is not. It's gratifying though, and it's worth it, but it is not easy. So we have a segment in the show, G, that we do called the Mommy Moment. And I'll take this moment and I'll reflect on parenting or anything that I may have gone through with you guys, my daughters, or something that, I just saw in passing with a parent and a child. It was just some information that was passed on to me from a mother. And today's Mommy Moment, I think I'm going to take it to something that you taught me. Yeah. So you remember,
really?
Did you remember, you taught me a lot of stuff. Actually, you are my mirror child. You show me myself. So
that's why I used to bump heads.
Yes.
For the same person.
Yes. So I remember one year I was doing the powwow. You remember this?
Yes, ma'am.
I was doing a powwow and I was having everybody stand up and just tell me why it was that, what they didn't like about their parents and things like that. So by the way, powwow is a thing that I was doing for young girls. It's called powwow. It stood for passing on womanly words of wisdom. We got together with a group of girls that were how old were they? 10 to 18 in different groups or whatever. And
I think it was it started as 13 to 18.
It started at 13, but the parents were like, girl, my daughter can come. I'm like, no, it's for 13 and older. They're like, no, she's a trip. She needs to be in your class. So then we started lowering it a little bit according to how mature the girls were. And I remember I told everybody to stand up, and I used to try to forge mother and daughter relationships. And we used to have a lot of girls in the group that used to say, I can't stand my mom because of this, and I can't stand her because of that. And we used to try to help them with those issues and things like that. But little did I know, but lo and behold, I asked Gianna to stand up, and Gianna was like, so I said, what don't you like about, our dynamic or something like that? And you were like, you're always too busy. You remember this?
I do remember. It's funny because when you brought it up, I was like, what did I say? I didn't even remember.
You said you're always too busy. Every time you come in the room, you're always on your phone. You don't even acknowledge us. You said, what'd you say? There was something around the ways I'm always too busy. And I was open. I had salons at that time. I was opening salons. I was very, very busy. But what you said, it really had me open my eyes, about time management, about shutting off your phone at a certain time, or even if you're on the phone or a business call, when your children enter the room or your husband, just acknowledge them. Just it don't take much to acknowledge somebody, but it was always, shh, I'm on the phone. I was doing that all the time. And then you called me on it. And I was just like, what? Did she really just say that? But it was your truth. And you always stood in your truth. You always stand in your truth. So even at a young age or whatever, but that was our mommy moment. So I want to reflect on that and go back to that time of having such a busy mother trying to make ends meet, of course, trying to build businesses and all of that stuff, and go to a place where you were as a child, me coming in, and how that felt with a busy mother. What were the feelings from a child's point of view at that time? You're grown now, but
yeah, that's so weird. I don't like being grown. I think that for us, it was a different dynamic because, again, like you said, I was the mirror child. Sarai was just kind of like the bubblegum child. She was just always happy. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter what was going on. She was just always a happy one. She just wanted everybody to be happy. She didn't want to shake, rock the boat or anything.
Whereas me, like you said, feathers or ripple any water. Yep, that's Sarai.
Sarai was the bubblegum child. She was happy all the time.
She's definitely the bubblegum child. Definitely.
Yes. It's funny because I feel like we switched roles as we got older, but I think with like growing up with you being busy, it's like, I think because I was always mature for my age, I understood why you were busy, mm-hmm. and I understood that you had to be busy, mm-hmm. And that you were setting an example for me to follow, for Sarai to follow, mm-hmm. So that we could be independent women, so that we could be strong women. Mm-hmm. But I think growing up in it, it was always just kind of like, and I think I had a tough time in school too. So I think the mm-hmm. last thing that I wanted was to go home and not have that immediate connection. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times, because I had tough times in school, I never had a bunch of friends. I was mm-hmm. always weird.
Loner. You were always a loner.
I was always a loner. People never really liked me or hang out with me.
I remember I picked you up from high school one day and I was like, why are you always standing by yourself? You was like, that bunch does drugs. That bunch smokes cigarettes. Which one do you want me to hang with? I was cracking up like, just get in the car, girl. Like, which one do you want me to hang with? That one is, they get high over there and they smoke cigarettes. Which one should I hang with? And I'm just like, Gianna, just get in the car. Just get in the car. Like, all right, nobody, don't hang with anybody.
I was always ready with a quip.
You were always witty, very, very witty, and on your toes about a whole lot of things. But it was just that snapback. You know, you get it naturally. You get it from your father.
Yes, and it's funny because when it comes to my dad, I can never match him. Like I'll try,
no, he's
and he always beats me to it, and I'm like, yes. Dang it.
Yes, you cannot match him because he outwits everybody. His comments are like, he's always on his toes when it comes to a smart comment. So you definitely get it honestly. You know, you definitely get it honestly. So that was are you done with that? How you felt as a child? So it was basically, you knew that I had to work. You understood why I had to work. But
it just felt, I guess, lonely because again, I was the oldest too. So it's like I had anybody immediately.
And you were by yourself for the first almost 8 years too.
Yeah.
And then when Sarai came, it was like, oh, I know, no, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't.
I loved Sarai as a baby.
You love Sarai to death today. When Sarai was
she got on my nerves.
Yeah, when she was little, you was not trying to have it, you know. But yeah, those are good things. So I feel like I've grown. Of course, I was a young mother. I had Gianna when I was 20 years old. You know, always living on my own, always trying to make something and trying to go to the next level. So I was busy building salons and things like that. So she did have, for the most part, she was with her grandmother. God rest her soul, Miss May would watch her for me when you were younger. My mom would watch you. You know, you'd be at home. And
I'd be at Auntie Quay's. I remember
you'd be at Auntie Quay's. You would just be, and I'll be in the shop for many, many hours or whatever.
And I do want to take a moment to applaud you for that, because no matter what was going on, at least I can say I never lived in a home that wasn't nice, that wasn't well put together, that wasn't clean, that wasn't, you know, what I needed, you know, and it wasn't even what I needed. It was like homes that kids would want to grow up in. So I definitely applaud you for that. I never knew what it was like to live in a place that was dilapidated or not put together or not clean or not homey or not decorated or didn't have a dishwasher. Like,
yeah. I tried to give you guys the life, but you know, as you get older, you realize that all those things are nice as they are, but kids need other things, you know, and I'm learning that more, you know, with Sarai and with being a parent, starting, I guess, when I had you, I was 20. By the time I had Sarai, I was maybe almost 27, 28.
Yeah, because we're 7.5 years apart.
So I had grown tremendously, you know, with the parenting aspect of it. So and you know how you see, like, my brother Fred does it even to this day. Like when I was younger, mommy ain't do that with me. She do it with Terrence. And I'm like, yo, bro, you 50. Terrence is like, there has to be some difference in the growth, okay? We're not going to raise you the same way. So that's how it was. So you went through all the struggle with me. You were the child that you saw we didn't have. We lacked at times when, you know, the car was down and we had to get on a bus and we had to scrape money to make money work, and how we had to go from, I remember one time you wanted some money for acting. You wanted some money. You always want money for acting, girl. And I always try to get my coins together to make it happen. Okay.
Absolutely.
So this one time you wanted some money to go to a Disney camp, I think it was, or something like that. And,
oh gosh.
Yes. And I was just like, oh no. So I was like, no, Gianna, I'm not spending that money for you to go. I think it was with a certain actor or something like that. And I think the camp was a few grand or something. I don't know. But
yeah, it was like $5,000 or something.
I was like, I am not spending it. So we wound up moving out of this lavish apartment we were living in, right? And paying all this money in rent. And we wound up moving to a house in Northeast Philly, I remember. And it was a lot cheaper. It was like, the house was like $800 a month. Our apartment was probably like $1,800 a month when we lived the lavish apartment.
Yeah, because I think we had multiple bathrooms.
We had multiple bathrooms.
Nice
It was like a nice spread, and we had it was gated. It was like it was swimming pool, all that stuff there, you know. And that's after my divorce. So I had to maintain all of that. And then I was like, you know what? I want to go ahead and I had a property. I did have a property in North Philadelphia. And I was like, I want to do some things to fix it up, because I had bought it, but it wasn't fixed up yet. And what had happened was I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and downsize and save some money instead of giving them, you know, all this money a month. Let me downsize and go somewhere else. So y'all were mad. Y'all were like, especially you, G likes her stuff lavish. So when we had to move to that house, Gianna was looking around like, oh no, she didn't. Like, what are we doing here? So I think
it was a nice house. It was
a nice house. It just wasn't where we came from. You know, it wasn't like,
I was like, why are we leaving the condo?
Why are we leaving this to go there? That don't make no sense. So I remember we had a plumbing problem with my rental property. And I remember it cost like somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. Well, they were telling me $10,000, but I found somebody, a master plumber, to do it for like $6,000. And to go ahead and you know, go in the street and fix the piping and everything or whatever. And you were like, I thought you ain't have no money. I think you were still mad from the Disney thing before that. And I was like, I have money, not for that, sweetheart, not for that. And I'm glad I didn't give you the money for the Disney, because I'd have been mad because I wouldn't have had it for the plumber.
Right. I understand that now. I'm like, I ain't got no money.
To the next round. I was like, oh my God. So we had to get that property fixed, and that started the other properties and things like that. So that was like me basically falling back to spring forward. So now you understand as an adult, like the things that I had to do and the sacrifices I had to make in order to get us to the level that we are now and growing, you know? So I wanted to talk about some of the acting things. Some people are going to be asking, you know, how'd you get Gianna into acting? How did it happen? You could probably talk about that. My thing is with the acting, I knew you were an actress. I knew you were born for television. That's why I got you involved so young. You were reading at like 2 years old. You were reciting things that were like crazy before you were 5. You were reciting, like, your memory was impeccable. You would laugh on on command. You would be sad. You would make the angry face. You were little doing these things. And I'm like, yo, this girl is a character. So I went into starting like print ads and things like that with you. And just trying to find some agents. You know, of course, we ran into some people that just want money. And then we ran into, like, until we kept going and found somebody that was reputable and someone who didn't want money, but actually got you shows. And the two, do you recall the two?
I know one was Expressions. We were with Expressions for a long time.
Yes, Expressions. And then
the Actor Center, Rodney Robb. Do you remember him? The Actor Center.
And he just retired. He just retired a couple years back, but somebody else took over. Yeah. But the Actor Center was a very pivotal, played a very pivotal role, and Expressions played an even bigger role, because Expressions was like, oh my God, yes, she has it. Bring her, just we'll take her pictures. And they started booking you for things and things like that. So that was, I think, the beginning of what is now becoming Gionnakamille, the household name. So you have played on, can you roll it down? Because I'm going to put it at the bottom, but I want you just to roll it down.
I've been on some amazing things. I've done A Blind Spot, which was on NBC. Orange is the New Black, a show called Good Girls, also on NBC. I actually just finished doing the new Saved by the Bell reboot. I've done projects with Lena Waithe, like Girls Room and things like that. I've done Little Voices. I've done When They See Us. I've done some pretty interesting things that, like, now I look back and it's kind of like really a blessing, right? That I've been able to do those
you
things.
Always be like, I'm nowhere yet. I'm like, girl, you are just scratching the surface, but you have done some things. So you cannot say you have not done anything yet. God has been blessing. Okay.
Absolutely. He certainly has.
Yes. And he's going to continue to bless.
For me to be able to move across the country.
Yes.
At a certain age.
And I remember you were trying to move to LA and like during college, like 17. I'm like, girl, you ain't going to LA. Like,
I wanted to go to UCLA so bad.
Girl, I was like, ain't happening. And now Sarah talking about she's going to
she's gonna go to UCLA. She's gonna live with me.
She's not at 18. I said, when did Gianna leave? She said after she was 21. I said, so when you gonna leave, Sarah? She was like, after I'm 21. Okay.
But listen, I didn't have anybody. She'll have me.
Girl, ain't gonna happen.
She will have me.
I ain't doing it. But so I'm glad you're over there. She'll get over there eventually. I'm not moving over there. I'm going to Atlanta. That's it. If I go anywhere, to be to Atlanta. It won't be LA. Because I promise you, LA is going to fall off the face of the earth one day.
Mom, LA is not going to fall off. New Jersey's going to fall off before
There are so many things that happen in LA.
It's really not. And that's the funny thing, because it's like, I mean, that was my fear moving. And it's funny because from the outside looking in, it looks that way. And then when you're here, like, you call me sometimes, you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to make sure you were okay. And I'm like, from what? Like, half the time living here,
I'm like,
don't
girl,
know what's going on.
I just heard something happen. I'm making sure you're okay. But
like, when you're living here, you have no idea what's going on. I'm just like, oh, that happened?
I watch the news and I know everything that's happening. And my favorite thing is Rodeo Drive and Pretty Woman. I just live vicariously through her. Like, Pretty Woman is my favorite movie. I just want to walk down Rodeo Drive and I want to go in the stores and be like, big mistake. Big mistake.
You've said that since I was like a child.
With a bunch of bags. I promise you I'm going to do it one day. With a bunch of bags, and I just want to do that. That's all I want to do, But I want to live out there. Like, oh my God. So
LA is amazing. You'd love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love when we went to visit, when I went on some sets or some things or whatever, but I want to come back home.
Oh yeah, you did come with me to do the press. Oh.
Yes, I did. I enjoyed myself.
It's interesting because I feel like you still, to this day, which is odd, neither of my parents have been able to see me on set acting yet, which is like interesting. Nobody has. And I was like, just thinking about that today. I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody.
Even when I'm there, they make me go into another room. Like, I'm always in a green room or waiting room or something like that. Even when you did something at the prison, I had to drop you off and I couldn't even come in because it was like.
Yeah, it was a prison thing because they weren't letting anybody in. But
the prison was
when we went to LA, that was press. So it was like different because it was like weird. But I feel like if I was like on a regular set, they would like let you like sit and watch and like be behind the camera because that's usually what they do with other parents.
Okay.
So we have to make that happen.
Yeah. I was just getting a kick out of, this is my child, okay, in whom I'm well pleased. But this is my child, and they're like, excuse me, Gianna, what can we get for you? I'm like, what? Like, are they really, like, seriously? It just took me out, and you were like, yeah, I'll have this and I'll have that. And I'm like, Gianna, get some water. And you're like, oh my God. Like, it's the mommy in me that's like, girl, I don't care what your name is, okay? To me, you Gigi, okay? You little Gianna, Jabo, Gianna, whatever. But you were just like, Mom. And they were just, running around and doing their jobs, I guess, or whatever. But they were just like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? What can we bring you? How can we do this? How can we do that? And it was like star status. And I was just sitting back like, wow.
It's like funny because like again, you haven't been with me on set, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is your first time seeing this, but this is what happens.
That's what, and then your name outside the door. I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But it's almost like surreal because you know that we've worked hard, we've done the work, and we have gone to auditions and heard so many no's. How do you deal with that? If someone was trying to pursue acting, how would you tell somebody how to handle the no's? And
it's certainly not for the weak. Like you know better than anybody. Sometimes I call you as soon as I'm crying, even after doing this for so many years. Like I've been doing this for almost. I started at 5. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, which is insane. And I still like call them like, Mom, I did get like it's like insane. Like I don't think you ever get used to it, especially if you're into acting for the art of it and not just the career of it, because I think because I'm so into my art, I fall in love with the characters. I fall in love with the script and the words. So when I find out I don't get to bring that part of art to life, that's what hurts. It's not the money. It's like, oh, I would have loved to play this character, But one thing that I will tell anybody trying to come into acting is don't make acting your life. You can't. You can't. You have to have something else going for yourself. Definitely. I learned it the hard way myself because like I would like do like 5 auditions a week and then not hear back from any of them and be like, oh, well, what do I do now? And I like sacrificed social life. I sacrificed so much for acting, especially early on. And it wasn't until maybe I was 20 or 21 that I started to like look back and say, you know what, let me have a life, let me live. Because when I look back, I'm gonna have nothing to remember my 20s by, remember my life by. So I'm glad that's why I started. Yeah, because I was a workaholic. I'd be like, no, I don't.
Yeah, I used to be worried like she is not gonna have a regular life. She's gonna miss everything, and she's gonna look up, and she's gonna be too old to do it. Okay.
Yes, like even as a kid, I wouldn't go to parties. I'd be like, no, I don't
go to parties. Like, Gianna, go play with the clown. I'm over here reading a book. Like, girl, if you don't go play with the clown, go over there and play with the clown. But you were always above your age. You were always very mature for your age. You always knew what you wanted and you always go for it. But as a mother, as a parent, you always want your child to enjoy the process and don't get so lost in it and don't miss out on life just waiting for that one thing to happen. Because so many irons could be in a pot and God can make anything go any type of way whenever he wants. And 2 or 3 things that pop off at the same time, but if you only got one thing going for you and that one thing don't pop off, it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah, like, definitely.
Yeah. Like now I'm so glad you have your boutique. I'm so glad you do other things. And
then I've allowed myself to like just live. I think it was like at some point when I was like in college, when I went back to college and you were like, hey, what you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going out. I might be back at 3 a.m. And you were just like, oh, okay.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Because you never go out. You never did anything. So
never went out. Never did anything.
Never. So all I could do is pray, like, Lord, take care of her tonight, But once you definitely to live your life and once you definitely to explore and all of that, but you always took risk, but it was only risk concerning your acting career.
Absolutely. I never took risks with my life.
I never took risk for anything else. Like it was only concerning, like if it had to be done for acting, I could bet my bottom dollar is going to get done. Whatever got to get done is going to get done because she's going to make it happen for acting, so that's.
And I get that from you.
Yeah. Right. Listen, I will make something happen. Like my sister Jaquay says to this day, like, girl, every time you say it, I just wait for it to happen because I know it's going to happen because you just make everything happen.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't doubt if you say you're going to do it, it's going to get done. And I don't care how much hard work it takes. And I definitely, you get that from your father and I. We both work our work ethic is so strong. And you definitely get that, honestly. Sometimes I wish I had played more. I wish I had played more, but I really didn't have time. So now it's like my play comes now where I'm building these businesses and have the homes and things like that. And we're trying to do a whole lot of things. Now I can, sit back with my pinky finger up and enjoy life. Children are growing up.
And you're young. And that's the great part about it is that I always say age is nothing but a number,
It's not.
You're as old as you feel. So the very moment you're old, you decided that you've aged in your head, you may as well stop,
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at Halle Berry's 54. Nobody would ever know, you still have, you have so much more.
Angela Bassett, they look beautiful for their age.
Angela Bassett is like 60 something. And I'm like,
And she's showing up like she's showing up young girls. Okay.
Right. I'm like, this makes me excited to age. I used to be terrified.
Girl, you see,
now I'm just like utterly excited to age.
I just can't wait. It's like the older you get, the wiser you get, and you just don't make the silly mistakes you did as a young person. But with you, you have even moving all the way to LA, done things that people dare to do, but are just scared and stuck and stagnant because they're just scared to make a move. You are definitely not scared to make a move. You're definitely jumping all the way off the ledge. And can you tell us about how difficult it was? Because I remember one time I told you, I was like, girl, I've stopped you from doing a lot of things. Now, I know you're probably like, my mom, get on my nerves. But I really wanted you to be more of a beautiful member of society than I wanted you to be an actress. You know, I wanted you to be an actress, but my biggest fear was being an actress that was rude and nasty and treated people unkind and things like that. I always wanted you to have character and always wanted you to be kind. So we had to do little things. I had to do little things that were, when you were younger, that killed me, that I had to do. But I remember one time, started when you were younger, girl, I used to take you to the nail salon and you remember you used to get the nails done and feet done? Like it was like crazy.
I missed it. I ain't had it done since.
Girl.
Like clockwork every week.
Girl, like every week, every 2 weeks. Like I remember one time you were at the shop and you were like, Mom, I need my nails done. And I was like, what? You were like maybe like 7 or 8 years old. Like 8, maybe 8, 9, something like that. And you was like, I need my nails done. And I was just like, what? Do you know that is like a treat? Like, you know, I'm not obligated to do that, right? So I stopped you from getting your nails done, right? Only because I saw this little diva rising up.
Oh gosh.
I saw this little diva rising up and it was like, oh shoot, if I started this early, it's gonna be a requirement. Like she gonna need her nails done every 2 weeks for the rest of her life, like till she get out of my house. And I ain't gonna listen. Now, if I say, all right, G, let's go get our nails done. And it's fine. It's fun. I'm there. You're there. We getting our nails done. But when you start walking up to me like, yo, I need my nails done. Girl, that's when it all stopped. And didn't it stop? It came to a screeching halt. I was like,
it did. And then when I got older, you would be like, you need your nails done. I'd be like, well, I can't get them done.
Yes, you can. So I'm like, you need your nails done. You're like, no, I don't need my nails done. Yes, you do, Gianna. I'm not paying for it, but you need your nails done. I stopped that when you were younger. And then I think one other time, you were acting. I stopped you from acting. I stopped.
Oh yeah, I think you pulled me out. You had pulled me out when I was about 10 or 11.
Yes, you becoming.
And then I had went back in at 13.
Yes, you were becoming a diva again. Like, watch when I get famous. Watch. I was like, oh no. We can't have this. We can't raise a child like this. But you were like, when I get rich, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and it didn't sound like all positive things. It sounded like mean things, and I'm like, oh no, we got to get her out of this. This is creating a monster.
Recall this,
girl. You were just like I can't wait to get rich, and I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna do that, and I can't wait to do this, and I was just like, what? Like I was like, no, Gianna, we're gonna pull you out for a second. We're gonna help you be a great member of society. We're gonna bring you back down to reality. Because you know I wouldn't have pulled you out for nothing, because I know that was your heart. Because I used to pay for the camps and stuff. We used to go to Freedom Theater and all that stuff or whatever. And so I knew that you were born to act, but I just did not want you to be lost to that, I guess that culture that comes with it, where I want you to act, I want you to be a household name, but I want you to still have a beautiful heart, and I wanted you to still treat people kindly, and I didn't want you to get get high in your career and look down on people. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we've achieved that. I don't think that you are haughty. I don't think that you overlook people or look down on people. So I think that we achieved that, but I don't think I would have been able to achieve that had I not pulled you out or pulled your coat sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just to be like,
yeah, I think also a lot of that comes from, again, I did not know who I was. Mm-hmm. So it took a while for me to know who I am and the kind of person that I wanted to be in order for me to be able to keep that person. Because it's easy to get like tossed up when you don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Girl, talk about it.
For me, I it was learning myself. And to be perfectly honest, I still am learning. And I didn't even really get to know myself until I was like 20 or 21. And I was just like, so this is who Gionnakamille is as a person. It was because, and I think, again, oftentimes the big thing of it was I was an actor. So I naturally adapted to wherever I was. So it became so much that I was like, well, who am I? Like when nobody's around, when nobody's here, when nobody's talking, like who am I? I adapt myself for my college friends, for the actor friends. But who am I?
That's so interesting you say that. My last episode was talking about getting to know yourself and talking about the inner child and things like that and how you take on. Remember, we had a conversation before. How about you was like, Mom, you take on a role of different people and things like that, or different men that you date. And I sat with myself, but you listen, you way ahead of me. You 20 something, figuring it out. I was 30 something, girl. Okay, figuring it out. Damn near almost 40. So I was like, before I sat with myself and had to figure out, okay, what kind of eggs do I really like? What kind of movie do I really like? What kind of this and what kind of that? And just getting to know Kiki for who she is. So you are light years ahead of me if you're doing it in your 20s. Most people just party their 20s away. They're not trying to find out who they are, figure out who they are until they're married and they figure out, wow, how did I marry somebody else and don't even know myself? And that's when the trouble comes or whatever. But that's interesting. You said that you didn't even, know yourself, but now you're getting to know yourself and you're going to continue to get to know yourself because things are always going to be evolving and changing. And what would you tell someone that was looking to get into the acting field as far as agents and things are concerned?
I would definitely, first and foremost, give the golden rule, which is something that everybody should tell you. If they don't, you're in the wrong crowd. But you never pay for an agent upfront. Just never happens. So if you go to an agency meeting and they say, oh, we need X amount of dollars or thousands of dollars to get you started, that's false. It's a scam. Run away. Your agents or your rep, your manager, whomever, only gets paid after they have secured you work. So they get a percentage of the work that you do. And I think that's the golden rule, because I still see so many people get like wrapped up in scams. So they're like, oh, I have an agent and I pay them this. And I'm like, well, no, you don't pay an agent up front. You pay them after you book work that they have found you. You don't pay them up front. So, and always be wary, because this industry it can be very, very
ain't it?
mean. It's not nice, especially when you're naive. But I'm glad that I had some semblance of book smart and street smart.
Definitely.
To walk into it. And not even that, just, with my mother, with my family, especially my mom's side of the family, just that very strong spiritual intuition of knowing, okay, you know what? Nope, this is not the right area. This is not the right person. They're smiling and they seem nice, but something's in there. Let me back away. And I would just always say, always stay prayed up, because you never know what's going to happen, and never be willing to sell any part of yourself, be it your soul, your art, anything. You can't because it's not worth it, to be perfectly honest. And I'm grateful that at 20 something, even when I was younger, I could always look back and say, you know what, when I become bigger, when I become this, when I become that, I don't want to look back and think of what I had to do to get there. I want to be able to look back and say, you know what, that was God, that was my family. And that was character. That was endurance. I didn't take any shortcuts. I didn't do whatever people said to do, because it's not how I was raised. It's not how. Not
at all. Girl. We don't do that. Okay.
Absolutely not. It's not how I was raised. And I think you've done well, because you spoiled me and Dad spoiled me, but you guys spoiled me in a way that you guys made it seem normal. And I think that's why I was always like, well, when am I getting my nails done? Because again, I'm just like, this is normal. I'm supposed to be treated with this. That's how I'm supposed to be treated. What are you talking about?
But your dad did a great job with that too, because he would date you. And I always be like, listen, let her be the first man that dates her or whatever. And he kept that true, because I swear, you've been to every restaurant. If a dude go to take you to a restaurant, they're gonna be like, you been here? You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I've been there plenty of times. Like, because your dad did a very good job on y'all had date nights. You remember that?
Yes. And to this day, when I just last visited him in October, we had a date before I left.
Yes, y'all had date nights. Dinner. Reggie would come and get you, take you to dinner, and take you to all these, and make you try different things. Like, make sure you were cultured, make sure you try different things. Now, I wasn't into trying different things as far as eating. I don't play with my food, and I won't play with that. I'm not adventurous when it comes to that, but he will try. And have you tried different things? So I think he did a great job as a father, just having you cultured and dating you and letting you know what to expect and what a young lady is supposed to expect from a man, you know? So whoever comes along, whoever you decide to date, they're going to have it tough probably because you're spoiled. I mean,
yes, it's already tough. I don't date as
so it's going to already be like, you know, no, my dad wouldn't do that, or my dad, you know. So and I think that's a great thing for a daughter to have. Never wanted to stand in a way of you and your father's relationship, even when you were younger, when he got on my nerves. But we happen to be good friends now. Like we could talk.
Yes, I never saw that, and I always like talk about it because I'm just like, I've never seen the parts where like he got on your nerves. As far as I was concerned, as a child, y'all was best friends like my whole life.
Best friends, right? For your whole life.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm like, I've never even seen you guys disagree.
He just make me laugh all the time. He just so silly. Like even from the time you were in, I was in a labor room with you, and he was just like playing like the doctor, and like I'm like, get him, and they're like, you want me to take him out of here for a minute? I'm like, please put him in the hallway for a second, because I'm like having contractions and he's playing way too much, you know. But that's one thing that we always are able to laugh. So you always see your father and I laugh, you know.
Yes, like even if I'm FaceTiming my dad and I just happen to be with my mom, somehow, some way, it becomes a conversation with all three of us, not just me and my dad. And it just becomes all three of us laughing, all three of us joking around. He was talking about you earlier today.
He was? What did he say?
When I was like FaceTiming him, and I was just talking to him about, because he was like, who puts flour in mac and cheese? I was like, well, if you make a roux, you have to. My mom sometimes does like that. She makes a roux. And he was like, well, look at her. She done graduated from making half-cooked rice and stuff like that. And you know, he says that every time he sees you cooking.
Every time he sees you cooking, I like, dude, I was like really like 19, sir, okay? I better know something between 19 and 40 something. Like, I better have learned. But yeah, he's funny. But yeah, I think it's good for for children to see their parents interacting.
Yes. And I've never went a birthday without both of you there. I've never had to separate birthdays. I've always had a birthday gathering, both of you there. Mm-hmm. No tension, no weirdness. You guys both got to drive me to college.
We always celebrated you. And I think that needs to happen a lot in families. I mean, I know sometimes it can't all the time because some adults act worse than children. But I think when it comes to just for the sake of the child, if you can come together and you can have the birthdays together, they can see both of the parents interacting. That makes for a healthier child. That makes for a happier child, you know? And like I said, to this day, me and Reggie have no problems. Like his wife calls me. Okay, Toy calls me, and we talk and bust it up. And if she not in the background if you and him are on the phone, and I'm like, "Where Toy?" He like, "Well, she in the basement." I'm like, "I will call the people on you. Like, you better get to it. Don't play with me, you know." But love Toy. I remember one time you were sick. You had you were in Children's Hospital.
Yeah, I think that was when I had my seizures or something.
Yes, you used to have seizures really bad when you were younger, and I remember. They were talking about parents. I was married, Reggie was married, and I'm like, she got 4 parents. Like, what? You crazy. So I was like, we're not leaving. We're going to take shifts or whatever, but we need 4 parent passes. They're not 2, it's 4. So the lady was like, just give them 4 parent passes because they're not going to listen, he's married, I'm married. We're her parents, but we have significant others that love her just as much. So we gonna need 4 passes, you know. And they obliged. they gave us our 4 passes or whatever. But that's how it's always been. You sick? I'm not leaving. He like, I'm not leaving either. You know, we both gonna sit here. Okay, we gonna sit here.
Yeah, I think at that one, I think you guys alternated, like, because I stayed multiple nights. So you stayed one night with me, and then Dad stayed the next night with me. And then everybody would come during the day.
Everybody would during the day. They say it's only a certain amount of people. We all gonna be in here, all 4 of us. Thank you. You know. Yes. So, but I can appreciate Reggie for being definitely a great father and helping me and aiding me and rearing you, because definitely some things that I taught you have stuck, and some things that he has taught you and, has brought into your life has stuck. And that's what made you a well-rounded individual, you know? But anything you want to say to anybody that's pursuing acting, any last words or anything?
I would say always just like in any relationship, I feel that acting is a relationship. Tashina Arnold said it best. She said that acting in show business is like being in a romantic relationship. Like, do you still love it when it's not paying your bills? Do you still love it when it's not being nice to you? Do you still love it when, it's not doing everything that you expected it to do? And if you still love it, you have to stick it out.
Wow.
And I would say always keep that mindset. The very moment that it's no longer happy, the very moment that it's no longer fulfilling, you have to go, because the deeper you go into that, when you no longer love it, you're going to continue to lose yourself.
And when I say that, that is so true. When, you change different careers, some people would just know you as for what you do, not for who you are. So do you ever get stuck in the phase of like, what if I stop acting? What am I going to be known for? What are people going to look at me as? Because I had that struggle with when I switched from the salons and I started saying I didn't want to do hair anymore, but I wanted to go on to different ventures. And it was always like Kiki who got the salons, or Kiki who got this, or Kiki who got that. And they always put me to my past. And it was like, yeah, that was me, but I have evolved and I'm growing. So please stop saying Kiki that got the stuff, Kiki that drive this car, or Kiki that got the shops, or Kiki that got that, or Kiki that do that. I don't do those things anymore. I don't have those things anymore. How about just Kiki? You know what I'm saying? So right. I was scared to let go of those things because I felt those things were who I was, but they were not who I was. They were just things that I did,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Like if that was to ever.
Well, I'm acting well into my 90s and 100s, just like Betty White and Sister Tyson.
I know that's right, G. But it's not who. Yeah.
But it's not all of who I am. That's why I have multiple businesses, and I try to make sure that I venture out and that I'm trying to build multiple nonprofits, because at the end of the day, acting is something that I love, but philanthropy is my heart. It's what I was raised in. It's what I was marinated in. It's what I grew in.
Girl, you better go in with the philanthropy.
So at the heart of what I do, acting is kind of like the running path for me to be able to provide for more people, to help more people, and to reach a platform so that I can inspire more people and build more generational wealth in my family and other Black families and other disenfranchised communities. That's my ultimate goal. But like you said, it's just like, it's funny because in the industry, I'm known as G. Everybody calls me G. Nobody calls me gionnakamille. When I'm on set, they call me G. Mm-hmm. My agent calls me G. My managers call me G. And I don't know how it became that, but everybody just says G. And so when you say, Kiki who has this or Kiki who has that, that's what I think of when I think of G, because I feel like that's a nickname and it's so personal. Mm-hmm. So when people say G, I'm okay. So when you say that, who are you seeing? Are you seeing gionnakamille, or are you seeing G, the goofy one, the silly one, the one who's trying to make everybody's job easier, because like everybody tells me when I'm on set, I'm way over the top because I'm trying to make sure everybody's job is easy. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just like, oh no, wait, I can do it. And they're like, no, it's my job.
And they want you to relax. Like, no, that's not what you're relax. Me too. I'm the same.
And I'm always trying to help in any way that I can, where they're just like, oh, what do you need? I'm like, whatever's easiest for you, whatever works for everybody else.
Just trying to make everybody comfortable. Trying to make everybody comfortable. Sometimes Absolutely. Even at your own comfort, for sacrificing your own comfort, you make other people comfortable. And
definitely.
That's a true.
I'm trying to grow out of that because I do that a little bit too often. So where I'm drained. And I'm just, okay, let me take a second and just say no, or just say,
okay. Get rid of the disease to please, girl. I'm telling you, I did that too. I was old, but you well on your way. Well on your way. Like when I first had the heart to say no, and it was like, oh, this feels good. And people looking at me like, she changed, she different. No, I just said no. I'm still the same person. I just don't feel like it. I'm not going to lie and say I do. And I'm not going to give you a reason to make up a lie as to why I said no. It's just no, and stand firm in it. But once you start doing that, you'll be well on your way, because these are the things that I've learned older. So if you're getting these lessons at 20 something, girl, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right come when you hit your 30s. You're going to be well.
Yeah, you always said I was wise beyond my years.
You are wise beyond. You listen, you fast track ahead of me, because when you get my age, you'll be so set in who you are, firm. Flat-footed and firm in who you are, and not second guessing who you are, knowing exactly who you are, your worth, and what you want, and you always go after what you want anyway. So that's not going to change. That's just going to enhance as you get older, But you've done the brick. You've laid all the bricks. You've done the work. So now, once you finish laying all the bricks, there's nothing to do but walk the path. you know?
Well, yeah, you guys laid the bricks. I'm just kind of
we laid
building
some of
on
the
top
bricks.
of it.
We helped you with some of them bricks. We definitely did. We definitely.
And you guys made it easier. You know, you guys walked so I could run.
Well, we supported you.
So.
I felt like even when you were younger, it was important for me because I always when you guys were first born, I dedicated you guys to Christ. So as soon as you came out, I was like, Lord, here they go right back at you. You know, it's like, Lord, take them and protect them. It's so many things that I can't do that you can do. And with you leading me, I could do a whole lot of things as a mother, more so than I could if I didn't have you, if you wasn't covering them or whatever. And he has definitely been very good at showing me what to do with you guys as far as, you know, molding you with your career and letting me know like this is the path that I have her on. Now I need you to make sure that she gets there. You know, so because me and you were going through it with high school and stuff. Like, I want to go. I'm like, you're going to Central. That's it. You're going to Central High School, and that's it. I want to go to, I want to go to Kappa. I want to go to Kappa. And then, God always deals with me like, let her go to Kappa. And I'm like,
I'm so happy I did.
Yes, and it was the right decision for you because you were like, I'm not going to be happy at Central. It's going to be a bunch of book work. I want to do my acting, and so I was like, okay. So God got on me about that. He convicted me, and I was like, all right, Lord, I'm gonna let her go to Kappa. And then that's one other thing you were going through in your life, and God was like, I remember I was in my classroom, I was sweeping the floor before my students came in, and God was like, you were going through something. And God was like, it's not about you. I said, I wish you would. This ain't gonna happen, not on my watch. And just, in my head, saying all the things that weren't gonna happen. And God was like, it ain't about you. First of all, like, who are you to say what? Because it makes you feel some type of way. You don't matter in this situation. So he'll check me. So when you think I'm not being convicted about stuff, I am being convicted about stuff. Yeah. If I come back and change my mind or recant, I just didn't do that on my own. God told me to do it. So that's the only person I'm scared of. So if God says that's the only person I'm scared of in this whole wide world is God and my mom. Because I don't want it with Sarah. But
that's never going in. I'm gonna be scared of you for the rest of my life. Lord Jesus.
So I'm scared of Sarah, and I'm scared of God. And when God says enough is enough, stop it. And I'm just like, all right, let me go back and apologize. Let me go back and do this, and let me say this, or let me recant this, or let me tell them something different about this, And that's how you see, like, Mom, you changed about this. You're more open to this, like, because conviction.
Yes,
conviction, definitely conviction. Because if I had my way, I'd be staunch in it, like standing in it, like, nope, I ain't changing my mind.
And it's very easy to be that way, especially when
tradition, and when you're
tradition and what you know and what you see, and it's especially scary when you're the one going through it, and you're just like, well, I have parents, and I want to make them proud, and I got this, and I want to make this person proud. It's like literally for a
it would drive you crazy, first of all.
Yeah, my end of high school into college, I literally shut down because I was like, I have to make my parents proud. I have to do what I have to do because I felt that so much was on my back for the family. I was just like, I'm doing things nobody else has done. I have to stay this course. I have to stay focused.
You just have to do what it is that makes your heart happy. If you woke up tomorrow morning and said, Mom, I did not want to act anymore, I don't want to do this, guess what? As long as you're at peace with it and it's something that you want to do, I'm all good with it. I don't want you to keep up anything, because I lived that life, and that's a stressful life, first of all, to live up to somebody else's expectations and just abort your own expectations. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, I didn't realize this until I was much older than you. And I realized I wasted a whole lot of time, and I could have just did what I wanted to do all that time instead of making somebody else happy. I could have been living my life, and nobody asked me not to live my life. I just felt that people viewed me a certain way and that I had to do stuff to keep things going. But in actuality, I put that pressure on myself because nobody said I had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once I realized it, I was like, wow, I put all that tension and all that on myself. Nobody ever said I had to do that. Like,
exactly. And like you said, I'm going through that stuff like now, like how you went through it. I'm going through that now, where I just kind of like within the last couple of years, I was just like, you know what?
Yeah, I'm just live my life.
I can't do everything for everybody.
Yeah, you can't do everything for everybody. You would kill yourself, you know. And the way I do it now is I go to God, who do you want me to bless? Because I can't try to do God's job. Sometimes God wants people to go through things so they can get the lesson. And I can't be the one stopping them from getting the lesson. Okay. And I'm not going to be the one stopping them from getting the lesson. So if you want me to bless certain people, lay it on my heart. I will bless those people. But as far as me bleeding myself dry, trying to make the whole world perfect, which I know I can't do that anymore, you know? So thank you so much for being here, G.
Thanks for having me, Mom. This was fun. We have to try it again when I'm actually there.
I know we have to do it when you're actually here, but thank you so much for everything. I'll be leaving like a trailer of your work and a link. And I'll also be leaving a link for Gianna's boutique with this episode also. So you guys don't, please do not think it robbery to check out my child, okay? Who I am most proud of, and all of her endeavors, everything that she does, everything she strives for, I just know it's going to be big, you know, and we want to support our own, even at grassroots. We don't want to wait until they blow up, you know, we want to support them every step of the way. And
right. I'm literally looking at the award you got me as you say that, which is funny.
Yeah, what I got. Yeah, right. I believe in it. I gave you an award, right? But we have to support our own, have to support our babies. So both of the businesses will be in the link. So just check them out. But thank you so much, Gianna. For coming tonight. So
thank you for having me. This was fun.
It was fun. So if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. This is Kiki Barber, and this is Take Notes with Kiki Barber. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Take Notes with Kiki Barber podcast. Please don't forget, notes on a pad without application is just notes on a pad. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that notification button so you can stay in the know. Until next time, my friends.